welcome to Profit Passion Fruit Farming, and today we are in the third video of our step-by-step on how to farm passion fruit. So today we are covering all the aspects of rad preparation. So in the previous video we dealt with all the theories. Now here we are dealing with the practical, what you should do in your farm in order to achieve high successful or high profit in your farm. So in the first video we dealt with the conditions, and also we also dealt with the planning. So you can check the other videos in the description box below. So, and in the land preparation we have a lot of things to cover about. So number one, we have rad clearing. So we have that process. You have rad clearing. So if your rad is a bushy rad, so you have to clear. Number two, you have to hard dig. Hard dig is where you make sure that it is dug 2 or 3 forks down. So it's around 30 centimeters or 1 feet down below. Sometimes if you're removing some coach grass or other roots, you can go below that. That is 45 centimeters. That is 1.5 feet. So you have to dig deep. Then in some cases, if your farm is the soil, depending on the type of soil, mostly we have black cotton soil, you have to do the second digging, or some other type of soils that are there, you have to do the second digging. The second digging helps to aerate the soil. So the first one is to remove the weeds that are there, or the roots or the stems. But the second is very important because it helps to aerate and also to expose the pathogens that might be there to the sun. So when you do the digging, make sure that you leave it around 1 month to 2 months before planting. That will help to make sure that it aerates, it has proper air circulation, and also the pathogens that were there, they have exposed to the sun and died. Then number 3, you also have to consider something we call raking. So you have to remove all that weeds. For example, you can see where I'm starting, there have been a dig, or there has been a digging taking place. So you have to remove all these ones, correct these ones, and leave your rad clean. So you can use a rake to remove all these weeds and also stems and roots if in your farm has. So then the other thing that we should do during this rad preparation, we have spacing. So you have to do spacing and hole pressing. So you have to dig holes. So the digging of holes, we said the spacing is 3 meters by 2 meters. So from one vine to the other vine, you have to make sure that it's 3 meters. Sometimes it might be raw, depending on the nutrients content or the richness of the soil nutrients in the soil. So you have to make sure that it is 3 meters. Then from line to line, or from one line to the other line, is 2 meters. Make sure that sticks that way, because if you reduce so much, you might have a problem when dealing with the vine later in the future, when it's well grown up vine, because a vine grows very big. Now when you're doing the spacing, there is one thing I want you to remember, that the hole that you're digging is 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters. So that hole will accommodate the manure and everything else that you will be placing in that hole, until that vine touches the wire and become a broad vine, so that you can cover that hole with another manure, and now you can place some soil on top. So when you're doing your spacing, make sure all your lines, make sure that they are straight, because there are 2 methods that you can treat your passion fruit. So we have number 1, we have through wire or the line way, and also we have the through the net method. The net method is where you can press the vine. Also, they are in a systematic way, but now on the top they just create a canopy like that one. So, but for the rind, you have to make sure they are straight, because you don't want to have some meanders in your rod. So you have to make sure that they are straight, so that for easy movement and also easy operation of the farm. Then the other thing that we should do in rod preparation is manure placement. So I always say that manure placement is very important, because we need two type of manure. Number one, we have nitrogenous manure, and also we have the normal manure. So mostly I advise on using chicken manure, 1 kg per hole, 1 kg per hole. So when you put it, you start with the chicken manure. When you place 1 kg 1 kg of manure, then you mix very well with the soil. You make sure that you mix very well, and then you add on top of that the either cow manure or goat manure. Sometimes we have donkey and whatever, and the rest. But you have to make sure that the first one is chicken manure, because it's very nutritional, and that will help the vine to grow very fast, and also to spread the roots very fast, making it have a better base for growth. So you have to make sure that you follow those things. Then on the side of manure, that either the second manure, either the cow manure or the goat manure or sheep manure, you have to make sure that you can, if it is possible, 20 kg bucket per hole, if it's possible. But if it's not possible, you can use 10 kg per hole. 10 kg per hole, you can press it, because that will help. Mostly use the bucket to measure. So I'm not talking about you take the kg and you start measuring manure, the actual manure, but it's a bucket. Use the bucket to measure. A 10 kg bucket or 10 or a 10 liter bucket, you can use it to, you put inside and per hole. And also make sure that there is one thing that I always tell people, is that depending on the type of manure, when you are starting to plant, make sure that your manure is well rotten, because sometimes it may come and affect the root. If it's not well rotten, through that process of rotting, it might rot the vine. So you have to make sure that the manure is well rotten from the place you are taking removing it from. So when you come to the hole during the planting, which we will be covering on our next video, and I will show you how to plant. So you have to make sure that you leave a space. If it's not well rotten, you have to leave a specific 5 to 10 centimeters away from the manure, to avoid two reasons. We have number one, rotting of the vine or the young vine, and also number two, attack by pests that hides on the manure. So you have to make sure that you ensure that it's well rotten, and also it will help the vine to develop very fast, because a well rotten manure, it releases the nutrients very fast compared to unrotten manure. So also make sure that the rinds are straight. Remember this, because when you are considering the poles, when you are pressing the poles, if the rinds are not straight, it will be a hard time to press the poles. And if the assuming that this is our rind, we have a vine here and another vine here, but they are supposed to be going in the same line, you see there will be that difficulties in the operations of the farm. So you have also to consider that, because when you are pressing the holes, you have to consider the line or the poles where they will be aligning well with the vine. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and also hit the notification button, because the next video you don't want to miss it, because it will be dealing with the exact step number 4 that we'll be covering on how to plant, the actual planting, the best way to plant passion fruit. Thank you.